Today I'm going to show you guys a quick video, short video, hopefully I won't ramble for too long, about how to make apple cider vinegar. So this is of course the one we bought in the store. We need this for an important step which I will describe, and this is the one we're making. So take apples. I have two small trees there on my property, so I just picked them there, but you can get them anywhere. There's apples growing in parks that just fall on the ground. I'm sure you can go find a whole bunch of apples for free, so don't try doing that first. And there's probably maybe people neighbors or something, just you see apple trees side of the road, they're just falling, go pick them. Don't spend any money. The idea is to get this for free. So this costs $5, I believe. The organic ones are more expensive, and this is what you want to get because you want to get if you look on the bottom, see that sediment there? Those are the active culture of yeast bacteria and everything. You need this to help you start the fermentation process. And you need some of the acid from the cider also transfer alongside with the active culture. So when this was new, the level was about here. I transferred about this much from here to here, and you just want to give it a good shake, right? So that all the stuff from the bottom is lifts up from the bottom, and then you want to transfer it. So here, very simple. Get your apples, clean them up, use some water, whatever. If they're dirty, if you have bugs, remove the bugs. Just use common sense there. Chop them up into smaller quarter pieces or eighths or something like that. Don't chop them up too fine. Don't make them into a mash. That would make a mess. You'll have issues. So smaller pieces like this. Put some water, some lukewarm water, and you also want to add sugar. Because I'll explain in a second. So I use the 1 cup of sugar, so about this much. You want to add it in there, and the reason why you add sugar is because it will help to start off the fermentation process. If you don't add the sugar, without the sugar, what's going to happen is going to take time for the active yeast and bacteria to go through the apple, penetrate the apple, go inside, and find the sugars, to ferment and start the process. So by adding sugar, you kind of helping it to start up the whole fermentation process quicker. So the active yeast bacteria will get established really strongly in your fermenting vessel, and it will just help to kick off the process. Okay. So lukewarm water. Now, if you live in the city, you have all kinds of chemicals, right? They're treated in your water. You don't want to. You want to remove those. So boil your water away to remove any chlorine, fluorine, whatever hell else they'll put in there. You don't want to put that in there with your active yeast bacteria, right? The chlorine would interfere and kill a lot of it, most likely. I mean, I don't know. I haven't done that, but you just want to put good organic water. So lukewarm water, mix your sugars in there, get it all mixed up. You can kind of see some of the sugar on the bottom. I didn't do a great job, but that's okay. The yeast will find this sugars and will start the conversion process, right? So the trick even doing this the first time to be successful is you want to transfer some active mothers. That's what they say. Even look on the bottom, it will say raw unfiltered with the mother. That's what you want to get, and these are usually a little bit more expensive. So you transfer it, lukewarm water, some sugar, add your diced apples, pears. You can use it. I've done it with pears and it came out really fantastic. So it doesn't have to be just apples. Okay. When you first start out, every couple of days, you want to come in here with a spoon and you just kind of want to give this a swirl like this, because the apples have a tendency to float, as you guys can see, and anything that floats above the surface tension of your thing will have a higher tendency of getting infected with stuff that's floating in the air. So molds, bacteria, everything is floating in the air. It's very microscopic. You don't see it. This is why I employ this second trick, and I've been doing this for a few years now to brew kombucha. I never had any infections ever. So what you want to do is you want to get this solid lid, and of course the trick is just to put it like so, because as the fermentation starts, whatever you're doing, apple cider, pear cider, or you're doing kombucha or something else, right? The pressures will start build up inside from the reactions when the yeast eats the sugars and creates CO2 gas, byproduct of fermentation. This will build up, and if this was screwed on, this would literally, not maybe, it would become a time bomb. It will literally explode and shatter glass pieces everywhere. So you just have to make sure, just kind of put it like this. Don't screw it on. And this does two things. It allows to, so initially you have some oxygen in your headspace when you first start out. So as the CO2 gas gets towards the top, it will replace your oxygen. So it will stop the oxidizing process, right? Oxygen is actually not good. Initially, you might need to just help with like the bacteria and yeast, but but afterwards you want to remove it from your fermentation process. So the CO2 will go in and replace the oxygen, and it actually, this CO2 gas will the positive pressure of the fermentation will trap the CO2 gas in there, and this will prevent the oxidative process. It will just protect your fermentation rate, so the gas will slowly come out. And because your lid is a solid plastic lid, as you guys can see, the dust particles are floating in the air, but that carry all the bad things like molds, bacteria, virus, and everything. They literally can go in your fermentation vessel because they will stop, because it's a lid. It's non-porous. There's no way that it can go in, and because you have an active pressure inside that slowly releasing gas from it, there's no way this process will suck in anything from the outside. It only slowly releasing the excess gas out. So that's pretty much it. Let this sit for about a month, and you get a whole bunch of vinegar, high quality vinegar, organic vinegar, that is expensive. This was $5, I think. So this is a quart. There's 4 quarts to a gallon. This is approximately a gallon. Once you remove the apples, it'll be a little bit less, but so maybe like 3 quarts. So you get this for free. You can do this all day long. You just have to get more of these things. So if you can get these at brew stores, like beer brew stores, they sell them. You can find them at thrift stores. If you go in there once in a while, just be on the lookout for something. It's where the container is made of glass. You don't want plastic, right? The plastic lid is fine, but the fermentation vessel has to be from glass. Also, the lid, it's preferable to use plastic. Don't use metal lids, okay? Stay away from metal lids, because they will, inside there, condensation is happening. You guys can see some condensation, right? And the condensation will react with the metals and rust it over time. You don't want, it's actually ideal to have the lid to be plastic and the fermentation vessel to be glass. By the way, I'm doing this over my kitchen sink here, so yeah, it's a little bit dirty, but I did clean my windows. You guys can see, I kind of clean my windows. I still have to repaint this, resurface this, resand and repaint it, but that's another day. I kind of clean my sink a little bit, but anyway, so when you first start out, every couple days, 1 or 2 days, you want to come in here and kind of stir this a little bit, kind of prevent, if there's any minute amounts of molds or bacteria that will start to grow on top and start infecting. This will kind of submerge them in the water, and the whole process will get fermented in. So, and then you just put your lid like this, and you want to put this in a dark place, away from light. I'm doing this for video purposes right now, but as far as the final color of your cider, you guys can see this is kind of orange. It will depend on what kind of apples you put in. If you put in apples that are green or kind of yellowish, you can expect the color to be like that. But if you put in more red apples, especially harvested towards the end of the season, when there's a lot of coloration from the skin that's being absorbed by the apple itself, you will get more color and the ending result of your cider, like an orange. I don't think it will ever be red like the skins here, but it will be nice, more oranges versus this type of color. So that's about it. This will sit for about a month, and then your vinegar is ready to go. So again, once you get started, this is let's pretend this is your first time doing it. I'm actually doing this first time this season because I lapsed over the last couple of years. The mother will, because you introduced it and here you inoculated this process basically. The mother will slowly establish itself over time. It will start floating towards the very top. It's like this. It's called the SCOBY. It's very similar to the SCOBY that you see in kombucha. It will kind of like a floating layer. So once this is established, this will become your mother, and there's no need to transfer anymore. This you only need this first time, right? So as you make more of these, let's pretend you have additional jars, 2, 3, and 4. You always want to transfer part of your mother to the new jars, and part of the liquid, the actual vinegar liquid, you want to, because it has acid, has starting acid, so you has all the bacteria and whatnot. You want to transfer that along with your mother once you have that into your additional jars, and then you can produce vinegar all day long. You can make it from apples, pears, whatever you want.